much for tuning in. Welcome, welcome. Another show, another show. Thanks so much for tuning in. It's Keep Your Head Up Hockey. I'm your host, Jamie, and we've got J Dog in the house. Jay, how you doing, buddy?
What's going on, brother? I'm doing good.
All
Doing
same
good.
old, same old, same old. How's the Dominican life treating you today?
Well, little late night last night at the casino and some wild antics. So it was actually kind of fun. First time I've been out like that in a while. And I'll be honest, I'm 55 and I'm feeling it. So
It happens to the best of us, man. But it's those nights that you can't remember, the nights that really make the next one it's that much harder. Those are the nights that you remember. What a night to remember the other night, you know. Boy, we get into OT and didn't take it too long for Domi to get one. Boy, oh boy, what a great shot! And man, Leafs are up 3-2 going to Canada. Three tonight.
I hope so. That three would be great tonight. I've been definitely making everybody a little pissy when you're in as far as Ottawa fans are concerned, because I've been definitely making everybody making it known that I want a sweep, and I think that it's going to be a sweep. I will say this: the way that the Leafs played the other night, they don't deserve to sweep. They got outplayed for a lot of that game. However, it comes to
Yeah,
talent.
true that.
It comes down to talent. They got the Leafs got a more talented goalie. They got more talented goal scorers. They got more talented defense. And as much as Ottawa was trying to score, they just couldn't do it. They weren't getting the good chances to score. So they're just not able to do it. And that's exactly it. Kind of happened in the first game too, to be honest with you. And Stolarz has just been amazing. And this guy right here with the no chicklets, probably the best goal he's ever scored.
Yeah, I watched him in London when he played for the London Knights a lot, and he just has a presence on the ice, and he's that type of guy that if you get him the puck, he's got a great shot. He doesn't shoot very often, and I think that's the goalie wasn't expecting a shot because he likes to pass a lot. But he's got a great shot, and he's got a great presence, and he loves the Leafs. Grew up with his dad playing him and are playing for him, and obviously wants to make a difference here. And that's why he signed a long-term deal. And boy, oh boy, he made a difference in Game 2 there, springing the Leafs to a 2-0 lead in the Battle of Ontario. It's been pretty exciting, I got to say. But a trip down the 401 to Canada, the Ottawa Valley is going to be rocking tonight. What are your thoughts, J-Dog, on Canada and the Leafs fans that are going to be there and the Ottawa fans and the impact that they're going to have on the Sens tonight?
They have the worst location on the planet for a stadium. That place is going to be jam packed full of Leaf fans because they can't do anything about it. I've been to several playoff games there, and in the old Battle of Ontario, and there's always more Leaf fans. They're louder. They're more. Well, I have to say sometimes our fans can be a little bit of a nuisance, we'll call it. Yes, and I know that a lot of the people Ottawa fans especially do not like Leaf fans, and with good reason. I mean, it's been a great battle over the years when they do get together, but I've been there's been fights in the stands, and I would get pissed off as well when you consider, you're in your own barn and you're expecting a bunch of chickens, and there's a whole bunch of cock of the walk in there wearing blue and white. It's definitely a different ambiance for your own team in your own barn when the Leafs show up.
The Leafs, they do that in every arena across the whole league. And we talked about this before. We love to travel to watch our team because normally it's cheaper to go to games and pay for the travel to go there, pay for the hotel room. It's normally cheaper, but no, Ottawa charging more than the Leafs are actually charging for the first round. I think that they know what to expect, that they might just get too many games at home and they want to take advantage, but they're charging more than the Leafs, and I was really surprised by that.
Are you really? Ottawa charges everybody more for everything. Look at your paycheck. No, it's not. That's not a surprise. And the last bunch of playoff series that they've had. They've tried to somehow discourage Leaf fans from showing up. And I understand it, but you know what? In the end, marketing is marketing and money is money. And if your fans can't get to your own team, ticket booth fast enough, that's your problem. It's not like Toronto people are more rich than people in Ottawa. It makes no sense. So like either find the time to get your ticket beforehand, or too bad. And hey, if you want to support your team, support them properly. Buy season tickets and buy the season tickets for the playoffs. They put their money. There's a ticket package that they have. I've seen it. I can't remember exactly what it is and how much it is, but there's a ticket package that they have where you can make sure that if you're a season ticket holder, you get those tickets first.
Yeah. I heard that there was problems online too, though. That the season ticket holders would get in the room to buy them, and they would time out because there's just so many people on there. So that's not always a shoe-in either. But it's going to be a wild ride. It's going to be a war. I don't think that Ottawa's going to go without a fight. And if they go down by 3, statistically speaking, here, they're out of it. Like it's very rare. It's only happened a couple of times where somebody's come back from a 3-0 lead. Will Ottawa get a win? No, but you and I said they wouldn't get the brooms out, but they're going to wanna, and it's going to be rough. I really think so. Pull it up.
Well,
Go ahead.
I'll be realistic. I think that they're likely going to win one, but I think it could possibly be a sweep. But I honestly think they'll probably win one. I just like I like poking at the Ottawa fans, and I definitely want. I want to stir the pot. That's what makes a good rivalry, is getting the pot stirred, right? And this is why they hate us so much, because yes, there's been tons of delusional Leaf fans for years. It's our year every year. Well, we knew it wasn't, but we'd say it is just to piss them off. And when you have such a large fan base saying the same thing every year, even after 60 years or 58 years or whatever the hell it is, it's like, what's wrong with these people? Well, it's just called being a dedicated fan. And let's face it, most of these people were not, I'll say probably half their fan base were not Senators fans to begin with. They were somebody else's team. They were either Leaf fans and they got tired of losing, which, is factual. A lot of Hab fans, that switched over once they came in. It was both, actually, pretty much. And you don't see a lot of Ottawa fans from all over the country. The only ones you see it, where there's actually a lot of military, where the military are. There seems to be a lot of my friends that were in the military and ended up being Ottawa fans. And wherever there's military bases, there seems to be a fair amount of Ottawa fans. So I'll give them that.
Well, that never will I cheer for Ottawa, and a big following will definitely be at the game tonight, and looking forward to dropping the gloves and getting that one started tonight at 7:30 Eastern. It's going to be a great one. Let's talk about his success, because I tell you, this guy has just been outstanding. Last 10 games, 10-0-0, goal against average of $1.48, save percentage of .947 with 3 goose eggs. 3 out of 10.
He's on fire.
Gonna know.
On fire.
We're not worthy.
And he throws better body checks than most of the friggin' defense on the team.
I just about to say, and defends the crease like a beast. That guy absolutely took Greg's head off the end there. It was almost like a style hit. Man, this guy should be playing football. Starting goalie for Toronto Maple Leafs. Oh boy, that was interesting though. Greg shit, and he put him in his place, and I absolutely loved it. Showing character, and showing what the playoffs are all about.
Well, I believe Greg's been probably all over the just about every goal. He's a good sized fella, and he's been actually, he's been a great player all year for these guys, and I think that he's a thorn in people's side, and I think this is probably the first time that anybody's really goalie wise has given it back to him. Now he's usually as big or bigger than most of the goalies, and it ain't in this case. As Stolarz is not just, he's got to be 240, 245, and he's
a big boy.
He's 6'5". So this guy, I think Griggs like 6'3", and maybe like 200. So this guy's outweighing him by 40 and got a couple inches on him, plus all the gear on. I don't think he was expecting what he got. But anyway, either or, Stolarz has been an absolute gem all year long. He's had, 2 bad games all year that I can remember. And now look at this. I mean, this has got to be, when's the last time you seen 10-0-0?
I haven't seen a record like this ever. I was trying to look up one, in the past of, going into the playoffs too, right? It's not just, any time of year, the first 10 games a year, middle of the season. This is going down the stretch into the playoffs for the Leafs, the first time that are the number one goalie for them. So this is a big deal.
Yeah.
He'll definitely get the goalie of the month. That's for absolute sure. Nobody is better than him last month. Hellbeck had a great month going down too, but I got to say, man, that's so impressive. And shout out to him. And if you're not putting up with anything in that crease and putting Greg in his place, gotta love it as a Leaf fan. He's got some extra pluses in this room tonight. And a shout out to Brian Chetty again. This is another one of his pieces of artwork. He did it on sticks, as you see here. Pretty cool. I did want to bring up, though, also quickly, this story again. I didn't show that picture the other night. Now, I had the copy of the picture. It wasn't the actual official one. This one was ordered by a fan and given to Knies. So she paid for it herself, had Brian Chudy do it, and then he got it to Brian to Knies, which I thought was absolutely cool. I wanted to share that story. Again, if you want some artwork done of any pitcher, period, but sponsor his specialty, Brian Chudy, CHUDY on Facebook and Instagram. But thanks so much for doing your artwork, Brian. It's pretty cool. We'll keep the show going. Lots to talk about. Get you all pumped up for the game tonight. One thing I wanted to comment on is we got somebody back tonight, buddy. Chiaretti's playing. And this is why this team brought a guy like this, a franchise guy that's done it before. Talked to this guy. He absolutely is a gem, a tough player. He's really a point per game player kind of guy, but he really does make an impact. He shows up for those big games, and I love putting him in for Robertson. What's your thought on the move, and what do you think about Pacioretty, J-Dub?
This guy is going to be throwing his weight around so bad. He's going to be so snarly that guys won't even want to go in the corner with him because he's 240. He's mean. He hasn't been playing. He's been wanting to play. And every time he's played this year, he's been playing with a burr under his saddle. And it looks like somebody stole his friggin' Fruit Loops. And he's not friggin' going to stop until he gets them back. I just think he's probably been the biggest surprise for me all year as far as the Leafs are concerned. When he's playing, he's contributing. He's not the same player he used to be. He knows that. He's not the super skilled guy. He is still really skilled, though. He is still he's way more physical than he used to be. And I remember when he got smacked from Chara, and he was not the same for about 3 years. When he ran him into the glass. And I mean, I wouldn't be either. You got crunched like that too. But I will say this: he's changed his style of play, and it actually, for this team at this time in this place, is absolutely going to be perfect. I think, because that's the one thing that the Leafs are missing up front is a little bit of snarliness and size to go with it. Because I mean, as much as Domi is as tough as he is and as snarly as he is, he's not this guy. And let me if he wants to fight too, which I'm not sure he'll do, but I think he would to get a cup, because he knows he's only going to have another 1 or 2 chances at this. And this might actually be his last chance. I hope it's not. I'd love to see him kind of come back a little bit more, like next year or whatever, and play fourth line, play all the time. Like, who cares?
Yeah.
And he's skating so well. I was so surprised with how well he was skating. And he's not slow. He's got those big strides, and it makes him look like a friggin' elephant on friggin' skates. But he's moving. Like, he's moving quick. And when he hits you, the boards are not the only thing rattling. Your brain's rolling around like a pea in there. So I think he's pretty solid. He's going to be he's not going to hurt the team. He doesn't take stupid penalties. He's a smart player. He's a very, very intelligent hockey player, high IQ, and he's not going to hurt the team. Plus, when you're talking playoffs, he's been there. He's been to the cup.
The exact reason why they brought, right? As far as experience, right? And
Yeah,
he's a player that can just step in and be that guy for you that game and make a difference, right? And I just love bringing him in because Robinson, he wasn't making the impact that he really should have, right? And let's give Pacioretty a chance and mix it up. And I like the change, and I can't wait to see it. I think it's going to be great.
I think he's going to run rampant on these guys. This is going to be a big change for Ottawa to handle. He's going to be a whole other aspect of the physicality change because Ottawa's been more physical than Toronto. And even though Toronto was coming out a little bit faster as far as the start of the game in both games with the physicality, after about 3 or 4 minutes, it totally switched. So I think
Yeah.
this is going to be a big change, and you better have your head on a swivel when he's out there. He's not the same guy, and he's angry. I guarantee you, he's angry right now. He wants this. He knows it's probably his last chance.
Well, there hasn't been a fight, and really, to be honest, I think that Ottawa's going to have to try and start something tonight. If they can't get it done in the first, second period and are trailing, they've got to do something to rile this team up and shake them off their game because Toronto's on fire. Like you said, we're on fire. We're playing well. We're clicking on every single level. These guys are a brotherhood, not just a hockey team this year. And you really can tell just by the way that they're playing 3 periods of hockey. Yeah, you know what? A little bit of nerves in our building, but I think that they're going to bring it to Canada in Ottawa, and they're going to show up for Game 3 coming up here at 7:30.
I think the one thing that the Leafs have done well was play well against other teams on the road when they're it's the higher end teams. Ottawa hasn't been that higher end team for a long time, and the Leafs have often lost to teams that were not as good as them, not anywhere good, and not even close sometimes when they're on the road. I think this is what changes the team. This is where you're going to see where this type of play is not going to happen because Berube won't let it. You look at they grounded out both games. They got outplayed. I hate to admit this, it bothers me because I've been giving it to a couple of guys like Finchie and a couple other people, and but it's true. They've been outplayed, but they're not as talented, and that's the problem. They don't have the goalie. That this guy may have won his Vezina, but he's not a Vezina goalie in the playoffs. I'm sorry. He's a good goalie, but he's not a great goalie. And I think that with Stolarz playing the way he is, because I don't see them giving I didn't actually read the lineup thing today. I'm guessing he started again.
I've got it here.
Yeah, so
but he started again. Stolarz starting again, and
I didn't think
it'll be when 3 it'll be 11 games in a row, right? It'd just be absolutely.
He might need a break soon, but if they win this one. If they win
Good
this
break.
one, I wouldn't be surprised if they start Wall in the fourth game.
Yeah, because you can risk it, right? You've got 3 games to win just one. The Leafs now have 4 games to win just 2. So it's or sorry, 5 games to win just 2. So yeah, it's going to be interesting, man. It's going to be interesting. So Pacioretty is going to be playing with Max Domi and Bobby McMahon on the third line, and slotting in with 2 guys that are playing great.
That's an aggressive line.
What is Pacioretty bringing to that line? And do you think that Max Domi and McMahon will play better with Pacioretty than they did with Robinson?
Well, first of all, both McMahon and Domi can score, but they don't have the scoring prowess of Pacioretty. So if both these guys get in after the puck, they can get Pacioretty the puck, I think. I think they're going to complement each other all fairly well. The aggression of the line is what I really like. These guys are all throwing their weight around, and McMahon, obviously, Domi, all these guys can fly, that's a fast, this is going to be a very fast line for that low on the totem pole when it comes, your third and fourth lines are this line can be a second line as far as the speed is concerned. So
throw them in as play through. That's power play line number 2 as well. So it's gonna be good, man. It's gonna be great, Jay.
They all dish the puck well. I mean, McMahon's probably the least skilled between the 3 of them as far as the passing is concerned, but he can score, and his forecheck. This line is going to be problems for Ottawa. The forechecking of this line is going to be a big problem, and you're going to see a big difference, I think. And Pacioretty, this again, as I was saying, bringing the experience, knowing what it takes to win. He's not going to allow this to go down as a loss, and I guarantee you, he's going to be a factor in the rest of the playoffs. And I think that he was fine. He was in the change room probably during the warm ups and before the game and whatever else of the last games, probably saying a few words and whatever else. But I guarantee you, when he throws that shirt on, that's a different story. Now he's telling everybody, put your act together here. You're not letting me lose this. You're not letting me lose this. I guarantee you he would will this to happen. He's that kind of guy. And I hated it when he played for the Habs because he was a great player to watch. He was fun to watch.
Great shot. He just the effort. He's an effort guy. He puts in 110%. He's not there for the paycheck. He's there for the hockey. He's there for the team he's playing for.
Still loves it.
Oh man, I again, you hate to have or to play against him, but you love to have him on your team, right? So he's that type of guy to watch, man. It's pretty awesome to see. So keys to the success. I think that it's not broke, don't fix it. I think Toronto's got to just keep up the intensity, don't back down, and don't make the little mistakes in front of the net, right? Like they've got to clear that crease, and obviously Stolarz had an issue with that last night. Let's take no exceptions to that and make sure that crease is clear for Stolarz.
Yeah, I believe the intensity level that's the key right there. They were flat for probably 40 minutes of both games. Like that, maybe not flat, but just not full effort. It just seemed like, when Ottawa decided to take control, they had a lot of time on the puck, man, and they can't have that. So Leafs, two things as far as in their zone, they got to get more aggressive in their own zone. I'm finding if when the puck's being rimmed around the boards, it's like, okay, we have our position to play, and the guy that's closest to the puck isn't necessarily the one going after the puck because of the position. And they're being a little bit too tight when they're in their own zone. Now, in saying that, it's still working, right? So it's hard to argue with success, but you're allowing these guys to get off a lot of shots, and that's not, eventually they're going to start going in. Not like this is what happened, And you got to control the middle of the ice. That the last two games, the middle of the ice has been controlled by Ottawa almost. I'd say probably 80% of the game. I don't know what the stats are, but it's pretty high. Yeah, and they've been taking the puck away from the Leafs. They were actually, and this is how the Leafs scored on them. They were exposing the middle. That's how most of their goals have come, is exposing the middle. Well, the same thing happened to them, and they got to make sure that doesn't happen anymore. And that's the problem when the other team controls the puck so much. That's going to start breaking down, and hopefully that doesn't happen over the next couple games. Obviously.
Yeah, 26 saves for Stolarz last night on 28 shots. Out hit 44-25. The faceoffs once again though, Matthews dominant on the faceoff. 31-27 for a 53% off the draw, which obviously is definitely helping. But I gotta agree with you, Jadon. They're having trouble getting out of the zone, and that's hockey basics, right? And when the Leafs move on after Ottawa into the second round or hopefully third and all the way to the cup, they've got to do that consistently. Good teams are going to make them punish on that and really make them pay for not getting the puck up consistently. They easily, they're just getting stuck in the zone and definitely tough to watch. It's working, whatever. They're winning games, and I'm not concerned. Not concerned.
I think Stolarz he's pretty okay. He seemed like you looked at him at his. Well, when they were talking about Greg to him, he's like, yeah, whatever. I used to take a lot of penalties and blah, blah, blah in my time. And I'll say this, I actually think he's starting to enjoy the limelight and not just not just seeing after the game, not just like as far as the way the fans are reacting and whatever. I think he's actually liking having the shots being taken, him making the saves. He wants to be that guy. And, he stood behind a fantastic goalie in Florida, for a long time, fairly long time. And, he realizes like when he's walking downtown now, he's probably never paying for another meal if he walks into a restaurant, like this is just, it changes your life. And I think it'll change. It'll change your mentality. Once you become elite, it changes your mentality on a lot of things. And you look at Sidney Crosby, he went from kind of being a little whiny when he was younger, but the success comes from the work. and the work breeds the success, and of course, I think that's what this guy's kind of pulled into his pocket here, and it's finally the pocket's full. He's got it all, and I
Yeah.
think he realizes now I have this, and I'm not letting it go, and his confidence level's that high. It doesn't matter who they're playing. I don't think he's going to be giving up more than 3 goals in a game
No.
throughout the playoffs.
No.
He's too
No.
good for that. Wall, I think, is not quite as good as him. Well, he's not as good as him. He's more about as good as I think he's about as good as Allmark, if you want my honest opinion. And he actually,
Yeah.
playoff time, you look at the way he played last
I
year.
agree.
He
I
played
agree.
pretty well, so you never know. He might rise to the occasion as well. And look, he might also be feeding off the success of Stolarz as well, and the team in general. They got to be all riding pretty high.
They're rocking and rolling, and I think that's Mo Riley. We say a lot about his play this year. It was he had a little trouble, but he's firing all cylinders now, and he's playing great. And I just absolutely love it. And this guy was the one that got the belt thing in the locker room started, and that's a big deal. Kind of to do that little stuff. My favorite thing is Vladimir Grill in the Toronto Blue Jays with the jacket when Jays hit the home run. Like, that's a big deal to bring the team together, to celebrate the small things and to celebrate that effort that puts yourself in. So I just love seeing that, and I love seeing Riley do well, and he's played great and making an impact once again. Last year, had a huge impact in the playoffs and scored a couple overtime goals. Right, so gotta love it. Gotta love seeing it. My keys to success tonight, J Dog, is finishing the body. I think it's going to be rough. I think that we got to hit them tonight. They've out hit us every single game up until now, both games. So we're in their building. We got to bring it, and we got to be physical. I think everything else will fall into place, Jay. I wouldn't really change too much more. Obviously, the breakouts that you had mentioned are going to be key in the next series. We've got to work on that. But definitely finishing the body is going to be number one for the keys to success. What are your thoughts?
Just physicality has to match the other team. They have to match the intensity. They can't let hits go by where there's 3, 5, 7 hits in a row from the other team, no matter who they're playing. I firmly believe they're moving on to the next round. So it doesn't matter who they're playing against. They got to match the physicality. That it's going to wear you down. It's a war. I think they're getting away with a lot here, having the success. They're not throwing the body around anywhere near as much as they should be. But again, it's you're talking, you got to win 16 games. You have to win 16 games, and to do that for 16 games, you got to pick and choose your opponents and how you play them. And I think the problem here is you look, no matter who they're playing next, they're more physical than Ottawa. So maybe they're saving themselves a little bit, and however, like the speed too, like whoever you're going to be playing in the next couple rounds, there's going to be some speed differences as well. So, Ottawa's like they made the playoffs. I mean, they're lucky to have made the playoffs.
They're a good team.
Yeah, but they're a good team. They're an up and coming team. There's no question. I think that they've got the makings of a solid team there, but I think that they're still a few years out before they make it past the first round. I'm not even sure, like with the changes that might end up happening during this year, they may not make it again next year. Possibility. Yeah. We'll see what happens. Yeah. But I think that they're still an up and coming team. There's going to be some changes made. Ottawa wants some success, and I think they need it. But listen, as far as the Leafs are concerned, they need to come out, match intensity. They need to control the half boards. They need to, like I always say, that it's an important thing. Stolarz, the way he's been playing the puck has been phenomenal as well. So he's making these first passes out of the zone better than the defensemen are, and and he's stopping a lot of the rushes from happening. Where they get in on the puck, that you can't dump and chase on him. He gets out to the puck fast, like before it gets to the boards or gets to the trapezoid. So he's making very good plays that help the defenseman out, and that the defense aren't getting hit as much. And that makes a big difference. The durability of your defenseman down the stretch is probably why most teams lose, because they get beat up physically and the defense aren't as effective anymore. So I think that this Stolarz, the way he's playing right now, is basically he's banking the longevity of the way that the team is playing physically, throughout the playoffs.
Love it. Well, go Leafs, go. Remember, you can hate me now. Stop now. The Leafs, game 3 tonight. Don't miss it, 7:30 Canada. We're going where they hate us, but they ain't us. It's in Canada. Game 3. Get pumped. Thanks so much for tuning in. We'll see you next time. Keep it. I'm Jay. He's Jay. I'm Jamie. Thanks so much for tuning in. Cheers. Take care.
Go Leafs.